Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is July 23rd, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. And if you look closely, you can kind of see that monsoon moisture trying to ride up on the west side of this ridge here up across California, Nevada, and Arizona. Going to continue some of this thunderstorm activity as you go through the next couple of days here. You can get some gusty outflow winds, some dangerous lightning, and there's even potential for some excessive rainfall here across the area. We'll take a look at those details here coming up in a moment. This is looking at San Francisco. If you want to know why it's nice and cool there, you can see that marine influence there of the Pacific Ocean. And if you go up in the temperature profile here, you can see the temperature actually warm up quite nicely as you go to the higher elevations. And that's what's known as a temperature inversion there. And that's when temperature increases with height through the profile. Typical atmospheric profile looks more like this. You take the surface here and the temperature decreases with height, but some places, you can get that temperature inversion there. That's what keeps it nice and cool there, relatively speaking. You can see some of that afternoon heating there. Try to bring the temperatures up a little bit here, but it never makes too much progress being in the proximity to the Pacific Ocean. And you can see that also that warmer air relaxing a little bit aloft also. This is at Burbank. Check out the profile here. So you can see as you go through the afternoon hours, you warm it up here along the surface because you're inland enough where you're not being influenced by the ocean quite as much there. And then overnight hours, you can see a bit of an inversion does develop there. And then afternoon, you can see things warm up there at the surface. It's kind of an interesting look at the profile of what's going on along the immediate coastline there of California. This is looking at Blythe. Check it out. Look at these roasting temperatures through the afternoon hours here. You can kind of see the cool down overnight and into the early morning hours here. Then the afternoon heating, you can see it just dominate the area here. 40 degrees Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit here. So very warm over the next few days here for many of the desert locations. This is looking at this day in Southern Cal weather history. Check out 2005 remnant of Hurricane Emily arrived in Southern California. Thunderstorms and deserts to the coast. Strong storms near Hemet produced flash flooding, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and even a weak tornado there. This thing moved all the way across the Atlantic Ocean into the Texas-Mexico border on July 20th. Then it surged across into some of Arizona and California on this day here. So yeah, things can get interesting here at this time of year, usually associated with this monsoon moisture or tropical storm remnants. Here we are, chance of thunderstorms today across some of the higher terrain. A National Weather Service San Diego graphic here. You can see Big Bear Lake at about 25% and some other areas with potential for some precip today. A couple thunderstorms could be firing off across some of the higher terrain. Heads up for that. And this is for Arizona. Check it out. Severe weather outlook here. Mainly a wind threat here. Some gusty outflow winds with some blowing dust possible here. And you can see developing mainly 1 to 4 p.m. here. And then the thunderstorm spreading towards the Phoenix metro here between 4 and 8 Mountain Standard Time here, so you can get the blowing dust and the gusty winds there. Some dangerous lightning out there as well. This is the blowing dust advisory here. This goes through 11 o'clock tonight. You can see it just left it out of the downtown area here, but places to the south and southeast of Phoenix here could be subject to that blowing dust. Now here we go, Las Vegas National Weather Service also, chance of thunderstorms here. Also, you can see not that high here, but it is a chance, and you can see down towards Kingman, 32%, a little bit better the further off to the east into Arizona you go there, but you can see some lightning, strong gusty winds, and brief heavy rain associated. And just a reminder here, especially across the Sierra Nevada here and some of the streams running off, this water is still cold, still a lot of snowmelt going on from some of the higher terrain out there, so wear your life vest, bring your life preserver with you, watch out, fast-flowing water will make rescue difficult. Check out Death Valley yesterday, 126 degrees there compared to Montana's overnight low of 32. Kind of interesting stuff here as Death Valley just continues to bake here under this big ridge of high pressure. Easing temperatures Sunday, Eureka, California. Check it out. You can see some of the interior areas warming up still quite nicely. Pretty typical summertime stuff. Nothing too crazy there. And then you can see if you want to beat the heat, get out towards Crescent City, Eureka. You know the drill out there all the way down towards Fort Bragg. Very nice and chilly there. Bring a jacket if you're going out to the coastline. This is the excessive heat warning. National Weather Service, Hanford, California. It does include the I-5 corridor here, Bakersfield. Just kind of typical run-of-the-mill stuff, what we've been doing here for the last couple of weeks. You can see see some of these temperatures pushing 110 degrees in some locations. This is something interesting here. So look at 300 millibar heights here. This is way up towards 30,000 feet. And if I put that into motion, you kind of see the clockwise rotation here, and you can see the general motion of this ridge trying to back up to the east a little bit here, trying to allow for a little bit more moisture coming up out of the south here across some of the region. So just thought I'd show you what's going on there at the upper levels of the atmosphere. This one here is 18,000 feet, and you can kind of see that high pressure here, and watch this thing kind of back up as well. And you can see that moisture, that clockwise rotation around that high pressure, and allowing some of that monsoon moisture to bring some thunderstorm chances across portions of Southern California up into Nevada and Arizona over the next couple of days. This is looking at total precipitation in inches in the European control of last night. And you can see, again, on the higher terrain north of Phoenix here, some of those winds could be bringing, thunderstorms could be bringing some gusty outflow winds. And you see some precip showing up across the mountains of Southern California. You could get a few thunderstorms firing off as well. As we scroll through the next few days, you can see not a lot of precip showing up, but some of these could be locally higher amounts here as well, causing some excessive rainfall. And even a couple of thunderstorms could be going over the next few days across some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, but not too extreme right now. This is looking at the HER3 cam composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like. This was this morning's 12Z run. It goes out 48 hours. As we go through the day today, you can see some of that activity across some of the Southern California mountains. Watch for those buildups out there. But look at the development of these thunderstorms here across much of Arizona, even trying to move out towards Las Vegas, some of Nevada here as well. Could get a thunderstorm across the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada here. And then we're going to kind of repeat this here as we go through Monday. Again, firing up storms across Arizona, moving up into Utah towards St. George here. And again, you can't rule out a thunderstorm across some of the higher terrain of the Southern California mountains as well. This is day one excessive rainfall outlook. This does move all the way out towards Las Vegas here as well. Encompasses a lot of Arizona. This would be day 2 and day 3. Kind of rinse and repeat here for the next few days. This is day 1. This is a wind threat here for severe weather, and you can see that thunderstorm potential move off into California as well. Day 2 and day 3 again, maybe creeping back to the east here a little bit. Now here we're looking at the GFS. So this is total precipitation. We're going to go way off into the future here. This is the ensemble mean of the GFS last night's run. And you can see this monsoon trying to come to life here, but nothing too extreme showing up. We're now scrolling out all the way towards next weekend here, and you can still see it's not like we're going to shut the monsoon down totally here. Not a great signal, but it's not bad either. I mean, you are showing some precipitation amounts starting to pop up here as you go through the 200-plus hour period. So, there's some signs for hope off in the extended, but we'll just continue to watch that as we get closer on, or as we go day by day here, of course. Now, taking a look here, this is probability of 594 height dam. So this is still a pretty strong ridge here across much of the southwest. This is about where we are currently. And as we scroll off into the future, this is the GFS ensemble mean. You can kind of see the strength of this subtropical ridge just continue to exist here across much of the southwest. And we're going way out towards next weekend now. And then we're going out into the following week here. We're at that July 30th time period here. And now we're on into August 1st. And you can see the subtropical ridge pretty persistent in its location here across much of the southwest. And some of the GFS operational run actually last night, which I'll show you here in a minute, has this ridge retrograding a bit here, even towards the Pacific Northwest, just remaining strong across much of the desert southwest. Now, taking a look at that here, this is the 06Z run. You can see the trough over the Pacific Northwest. Big ridge, of course, down here across much of the desert southwest, bringing that record heat to Phoenix, Arizona. You can see that high drift off to the east a bit here. Remain strong right over New Mexico here. Trough kind of temper the heights a little bit here as we go on into next week, and still existing. But then watch what happens when we get way off into fantasy land here. We're looking 200-plus hours out. This is 10-plus days. It's just purely a fantasy forecast, but kind of a sinister-looking picture here is, again, this would bring record heights at 18,000 feet. A very big heat dome across much of the southwest as we go on through the extended. So we'll watch this. We'll see if this is some kind of trend showing up here. But the European ensemble mean also saying something similar with troughing out of the Pacific and above average heights across much of the west here as well. Just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind for now. It's strictly a fantasy forecast. This is 6 to 10 day precipitation probability outlook here. Includes Southern California, portions of Arizona. 8 to 14 day, not a bad signal there. Maybe we'll continue this monsoon moisture back up across the region here on the western periphery of that ridge. 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. And this is the 8 to 14 day, much of the region included. This is July 1st through July 22nd. As you can see, we are warming things up here across much of the west. We are now above average here for almost all the west here, and the plains are the only place below average so far this July. You can see the anomaly approaching now 1 degree Fahrenheit, and this is looking from January 1st to July 22nd, about 0.27, so still above average here, but you see that big difference between the East Coast and the West Coast here so far this year. This is looking at fire danger here too as well. So the L here means dry lightning. So there is some dry lightning potential here, or at least storms that aren't producing enough precipitation to extinguish any fires that the lightning may cause. Still not doing bad across California here. Generally low or little to no risk here across much California. We can see across Nevada and Arizona, maybe that dry lightning risk there. But anyway, yeah, kind of an interesting look at things here. The monsoon moisture trying to return here. Hopefully that continues to be a trend here out to the extended. And hopefully that ridge doesn't do what the GFS operational of last night was showing and just create another record-setting high heat dome here across much of the southwest here. Big ridge of high pressure. So anyway, we'll watch that as we go here. It's always something to look at in the extended forecast, but hope you guys enjoy that. And if you get some of that thunderstorm activity, you might want to buy a camera there, buy a lightning trigger, and maybe you can get some lightning strikes and post them to me on social media if you're lucky enough to get it. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.